Yes.
Yes, we start. I found some of them. Some of these bits and pieces. Makes me wonder what they will tell. Maybe they even belong together and become one of these old and precious stories. Stories want to be told. This is why they exist. They want to share their wisdom. And in order to find somebody who tells them, they travel all around the world. They travel very slowly, because they travel with the shadows when the earth turns and turns and turns around. But it is not easy for them to find somebody, because nobody cares about shadows. When the time stretches and nobody tells them, and they are in danger to be forgotten, they even depart from each other, and the king of the story takes this direction. And the queen from the same story takes another direction. And maybe there are horses who then will be wild and fiercely ride into the forest. They're all taking a great risk, the risk that they may never meet each other again. And then, if you pay attention, they are scattered all over. And sometimes it's just a small part from a huge shadow, and you recognize it, and you take a sheet of paper and you draw it, you sketch it, and then you cut it. This one I found in Scotland. Maybe the story of a king. This one from a forest in Romania. This one from another forest in Finland. And then you just give them a space where they can meet again. And the tiny light source is enough already. And of course, you turn off all the other lights, because every story wants your full attention. Okay? Okay?
Sì.
Once upon a time, c'era una volta. There was a king who had a great forest near his castle, full of all kinds of wild animals. One day, he sent out a horseman to shoot him a roe. But he did not come back. The next day, he sent out 2 more huntsmen who were to search for him. But they too did not come back. The 3rd day, he sent for all his huntsmen and said, "Search the whole forest and do not give up until you have found all 3 of them." But of those also, none came home again. And from that day on, into the forest. And he lay there in deep solitude and stillness. Only sometimes a bunch of birds flying over it this lasted for many years. One day, a strange huntsman announced himself to the king and offered to go into the dangerous forest. "It is not safe there," said the king. "Lord," said the huntsman, "I will venture it on my own risk and of fear. I know nothing." And then the huntsman and his dog went into the deep forest. And hardly had the dog run 2 steps when he smelled the trace of a wild animal and wanted to chase it. But hardly had he gone 3 steps when suddenly he stood in front of a deep pool and could not go further. And a strange hand itself stretched out, seized it, and drew it under. When the huntsman saw this, he went back to fetch 3 men with buckets to bail out the water. Shoo! 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 And when they could see the bottom, there lay a wild man with his body brown as iron skin, and his hair hung all over his face, down to his knees. And they bent him with cords, then down again, and up again, and took him to the castle. And the king had put him into an iron cage, and on pain of death forbidden to open the door. And the queen herself has taken the key into her keeping. The king had a son of 8 years who once played in the courtyard. And while he was playing, his golden ball fell into the cage. The boy ran there and said, "Give my ball out." "Open the door," said the wild man. "No, I will not do that," said the boy, and ran away. The next day, he went back and again asked for his ball. "Open the door," said the man. The boy would not. On the 3rd day, the king had ridden out for hunting. Once more the boy came back and said, "I cannot open the door. for I have not the key. It lies under the pillow of your mother. There, you can find it. And the boy, who wanted his ball back, threw all his thoughts in the wind and brought the key. The door opened with difficulty, and he hurt his finger. The wild man gave him the ball back, turned around, and hurried to the forest. "Wild man, don't run away, or I shall be beaten." And the wild man turned back, took the boy up on his shoulder, and walked towards the forest. When the king came back, he found the open cage and asked the queen how that had happened. But she did not know, and sought for the key, but it was gone. And called the boy, but no one answered. And then they easily could guess what had happened, and much grief reigned the royal court. The wild man came back into the black forest. He put down the boy from his shoulder, looked at him and said, "Your mother and your father you will never see again. But you can stay with me, for you have set me free, and I have compassion on you. If you do what I ask you to do, you shall have it good." And then the wild man made him a bed of moss on which the boy slept. The next morning, the man took the boy to a well. And he said, "Look at the well. The water is pure as a crystal. You shall stay and take care that nothing falls inside. I will come every evening to see if you have done so." And the boy set himself aside of the well and took care. But as he was sitting, his finger hurt so much that involuntarily he put it in the water. He took it out again. It was golden. And when the man came back in the evening, he said, "You have dipped your finger into the water. This time it may pass, but take care." The next day, unhappily, a hair fell into the well. And the man said, "If this happens a third time, you cannot stay longer and you have to go." On the third day, the time was long, and the boy sat there, looking at the reflection of his face on the surface of the water. And when he tried to look into his own eyes, suddenly his whole hair fell into the water. He drew it out, but it was golden, and he took a handkerchief and tried to hide it, but all was of no purpose. And when the wild man came back the evening, he said, "You have not stood the trial, and you must go Go out into the world, see, and learn what poverty is. But as you have a good heart, I will give you this grant. If you fall in difficulty, come back to the forest and call my name. I will be there to help you. My power is great, greater than you think. And then, the son of the king had to leave the forest. He went and walked over beaten and unbeaten paths.